Get a load of this, right? Private First Class George Dilber, US Army, H Company, 103rd Infantry, 26th Division, near Belleau, France, July 18, 1918. Quote, after his platoon had gained its objective along a railroad embankment, PFC Dilber, accompanying his platoon leader to reconnoitre the ground beyond, was suddenly fired upon by an enemy machine gun from 100 yards. From a standing position on the railway track, fully exposed to view, he opened fire at once, but failing to silence the gun, rushed forward with his bayonet fixed through a wheat field towards the gun emplacement, falling within 25 yards of the gun with his right leg nearly severed above the knee, and with several bullet holes in his body. With undaunted courage, he continued to fire into the emplacement from a prone position, killing 2 of the enemy and dispersing the rest of the crew. End quote. And that's one of the less incredible Medal of Honours. Private Dilber lost his life, actually, in that action, but was awarded the Medal of Honour. I want to talk about the Medal of Honour real quick.
America owes you a debt of gratitude, son. I understand you were wounded. Where were you hit?
In the buttocks, sir.
Oh, that must be a sight. I'd kind of like to see that.
And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know.
I thought I'd do a few shorter videos, and I've read a lot of citations for the Victoria Cross and Medal of Honour in my time. That's what I do. That's who I am. And they're like a bit of history distilled down into a shot, like a little shot of espresso or a moonshine, probably more like. Especially the older citations, that's the formal official account that the armed services give of the action. And especially the older ones are quite short. Medal of Honour citations, if you look them up, modern ones, people got them in Afghanistan, Iraq and things. They're quite long, they're many paragraphs long, but the World War I Medal of Honour citations are particularly incredible. I mean, you have to do something incredible to earn one at all, but here's another one. Sergeant Gary Evans Foster, US Army, F Company, 118th Infantry, 30th Division, near Montbretagne, France, 8th of October, 1918. Quote, when his company was held up by violent machine gun fire from a sunken road, Sergeant Foster with an officer went forward to attack the hostile machine gun nests. The officer was wounded, but Sergeant Foster continued on alone in the face of heavy fire, and by effective use of hand grenades and his pistol, killed several of the enemy and captured 18. End quote. I mean, that is incredible. That is crazy. There's a man who must have been prepared to die. Must have been. He's a modern recipient of the Medal of Honour saying exactly that.
Meyer ran a gauntlet of fire not once but 5 times, with insurgents shooting down on him from 3 sides.
Did you think you were going to die?
I didn't think I was going to die. I knew I was.
First Sgt Milo Limit, US Army, G Company, 119th Infantry, 30th Division, near Bellecourt, France, 29th of September 1918. Quote, seeing that the left flank of his company was held up, he located the enemy machine gun emplacement, which had been causing heavy casualties. In the face of heavy fire, he rushed it single-handed, killing the entire crew with grenades. Continuing along the enemy trench in advance of the company, he reached another emplacement, which he also charged, silencing the gun with grenades. A third machine gun emplacement opened up on him from the left, and with similar skill and bravery he destroyed this also. Later, in company with another sergeant, he attacked a 4th machine gun nest, being killed as he reached the parapet of the emplacement. His courageous action in destroying in turn 4 enemy machine gun nests, preventing many casualties among his company, and very materially aiding in achieving the objective. End quote. I mean, are you kidding me? That's almost cartoonish levels of bravery, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way at all.
I'm in danger!
But it's just almost beyond belief. And when you look down the lists of Victoria Cross or Medal of Honour winners, it's the highest military honour you can get, and as I said, a lot of them do die in winning it. But here's another. Sergeant Richmond Hilton, US Army, M Company, 118th Infantry, 30th Division, at Brancourt, France, October the 11th, 1918. Quote, while Sergeant Hilton's company was advancing through the village of Brancourt, it was held up by intense enfilade fire from a machine gun. Discovering that this fire came from a machine gun nest among shell holes at the edge of the town, Sergeant Hilton, accompanied by a few other soldiers, but well in advance of them, pressed on towards this position, firing with his rifle until his ammunition was exhausted, and then with his pistol, killing 6 of the enemy and capturing 10. In the course of this daring exploit, he received a wound from a bursting shell, which resulted in the loss of his arm." End quote.
But they have the strength to do that. If I had 10 divisions of those men, then our troubles here would be over very quickly.
I mean, some of these citations really do beg a belief. How about this one? Captain George Mallon, US Army, 132nd Infantry, 33rd Division, at Bois de Forges, France, 26th of September 1918. Quote, "Becoming separated from the balance of his company because of a fog, Captain Mallon, with 9 soldiers, pushed forward and attacked 9 active hostile machine guns, capturing all of them without the loss of a man. Continuing on through the woods, he led his men in attacking a battery of 4 155mm howitzers, which were in action, rushing the position and capturing the battery and its crew. In this encounter, Captain Mallon personally attacked one of the enemy with his fists. Later, when the party came upon 2 more machine guns, this officer sent men to the flanks while he rushed forward directly in the face of the fire and silenced the guns, being the first of the party to reach the nest. The exceptional gallantry and determination displayed by Captain Mallon resulted in the capture of 100 prisoners, 11 machine guns, 4 155mm howitzers, and 1 anti-aircraft gun." End quote. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'm not scared at all. I just feel kind of invincible.
And that's all you get. Like I say, it's like a little shot of history. You just have to sort of fill in the blanks yourself. What it must have been like, what the actual physical action must have been. What about Private First Class John Lewis Barclay at US Army, K Company, 4th Infantry, 3rd Division, at Crenelle, France, October 7th, 1918. Quote, "Private First Class Barclay, who was stationed in an observation post half a kilometre from the German line, on his own initiative repaired a captured enemy machine gun and mounted it in a disabled French tank near his post. Shortly afterwards, when the enemy launched a counterattack against our forces, Private First Class Barclay got into the tank, waited under hostile barrage until the enemy line was abreast of him, and then opened fire, completely breaking up the counterattack and killing and wounding a large number of the enemy. 5 minutes later, an enemy 77mm gun opened fire on the tank point blank. One shell struck the drive wheel of the tank, but this soldier nevertheless remained in the tank, and after the barrage ceased, broke up a second enemy counterattack, thereby enabling our forces to gain and hold Hill 25. End quote. It's almost too much to believe. And a lot of these highest awards for gallantry go to medics or corpsmen, guys that go out there and try and, doctors, guys that go out there and try and save wounded men actually in the battle itself. I'll finish with one more, a guy called John Bouch. His citation reads, quote, "For gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his own life above and beyond the call of duty, with the 6th Regiment, US Marines, in action at Verisey on the 19th of July, 1918, Bouch unhesitatingly and fearlessly exposed himself to terrific machine gun and high explosive fire to succour the wounded as they fell in the attack, leaving his dressing station voluntarily and keeping up the work all day and late into the night, unceasingly for 16 hours. Also in the action at Sompry on the 5th of October 1918, he exhibited exceptional bravery in establishing an advanced dressing station under heavy shell fire." End quote. And that's really just scratching the surface of Medal of Honours that have been handed out. Some are, if you can believe it, even more extraordinary than that. Anyway, I might do the Victoria Cross next, a few Victoria Crosses.
Back in '88, it was, what was it?
Here it comes. The Victoria Cross bit again.
It was then I received the Victoria Cross for bravery above and beyond the call of duty. Ha ha! Those were the days. Discipline. Discipline was the thing. Builds character. All that sort of thing, you know. Where was I?